Check. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, everybody. All the three viewers. I'm just checking the feed and making sure we're all good to go and that you guys can hear me. What up, Patrick? Check. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, good. We're good. Hello, everybody. If you hear me, that's me. Hello, everybody. Shoot. Okay. Cool. All right. Welcome, everybody. Let's get this started. Welcome to the Native Wellness Institute Power Hour. I am your facilitator, speaker, homeboy, Kasey Nicholson. That's my white name. I had no choice in that name. I was a baby, probably freshly out of the womb. They never asked me, "Hey, kid, what do you want your name to be?" I'm sure my name would have been like, or I don't know, something like that. You know, maybe that's how aliens. I don't know. I don't even know if I don't know any aliens. I wouldn't. That's weird. But yeah, that's my name. That's my white name, and it's weird. You know, it's gonna kind of go in the line of our talk today, sort of, not really. White name is Kasey Nicholson. Indian name is Wasnakek. My native Aani name is Wasnakek, which means white bear. Wahe, Nitine or Panitine, all my relatives Nitine or Wahe Niti, hello friend. Panitine, Wahe Naniset Wasnakek. My name is White Bear. Nahasihina. All right. And he said it was not Kasey Nicholson Nahasihina. Kasey Nicholson Nahasihina, that's what they call me, is Kasey Nicholson. So that's not who I am, but that's what they call me. You could even say, he is so fine, Nahasihina. That's what they call me. He is so fine. He is so crazy, Nahasihina. That's what they call me. He is so crazy, Nahasihina. We shall call him Big Ears, Nahasihina. Big Ears, Nahasihina. That's what they call me, is Big Ears. I don't know. You know, you could do that way as well. No ani today, or Nicholson. You could just say a good day. It's a good day today. Happy to be here with each and every one of you guys. I hope each and every one of you guys are having a beautiful summer. It's June, and here in Montana, in Billings, Montana, it is warm, unseasonably warm, but it kind of dropped down in temperature earlier today, or this week, or on Sunday. But before that, it was like last Thursday, Friday, Saturday, it was like 90s, almost 100 degrees, and that's unseasonably warm for June. So we went from like spring, like 30, 40 degree weather. Okay, maybe 50, 60, okay, maybe I'm exaggerating. And then we went straight to like 90. And now we're in the high 80s, mid 80s. It's beautiful though. It is straight up, like, it is so nice to see. My grass is green, the trees are green, my flowers are blooming. People's moods are better. I can already see that from maybe the sunlight and the vitamin D that's going on, because of the different weathers happening here in Montana. I'm finding myself being more active, which is really cool. Like, I am, like, you can probably tell, I'm kind of like almost like a little bit like tired, because I just been go. I just been like, I think I'm gonna have a nap after this. Nothing wrong with a little cat nap, you know, little cat nap, to rest the mind and the body, you know. Nothing wrong with a little nap, you know. It's okay, it's fine, you know. Nap, you know. Can you hear that? I don't know if that's a growl or a purr. I don't know. But yeah, so today There's my introduction, guys. Today is going to be a beautiful day. We're going to talk a little bit about some things that may spark questions or thoughts or feelings or memories or something. And the reason why I chose this one today, when Jillian asked me, what do you want to speak on today? I thought about it a lot. And I was like, man, yeah, I want to talk about comedy. Yeah, I want to talk about, healing and, all that good stuff, trauma. But I was like, how can I approach it in a different way to hopefully maybe make people think about how we view certain things or hear certain things. And the word that came into my mind was, and what I'll be talking about soon, is the word, and let me know how this makes you feel, okay? Because the reason why I did this one is because, how would you say, it's trigger words, maybe, maybe these words sometimes that we discuss, you never really think about because we're in such a rut or a groove or a carved out narrow pathway to think a certain way, and we just continue to think about it in certain things in certain ways and not abstractly or critically think about it in a different way because we just see it as, and that's just the way it is for who we are in our lives. And I don't try to overthink things. It just makes me think, like more or less, you know what I mean? Like it's not gonna overwhelm my thinking, but I'm that person that likes to just think about things in a different way, even if it doesn't make sense. And that's fine, it's okay. But to kind of get your brain to think in a different way really exercises it, I guess you'd say. Helps with the brain plasticity, gets your mind and your thoughts in, instead of just being that groove path, or always thinking that way, or always reacting that way, or always viewing it that way, I like to think of things in a different way, in a different format. So the words today, and we might discuss this more. This might be more of my power hours, where I just come up with words and I ask you guys, more on an interactive part, is how does it make you think? What are the first things that make you think when you hear these things? And so the word today, I want to go through here real quick, and I don't want to not say hello to anybody. So let's see, what do I got here? Hello, Native Wellness Institute. They're welcoming everybody today at the beginning of week 64 of our Native Power Hour. Here, loud and clear. Thanks, Patrick. Deanna, thank you. Halito, from Oklahoma. Carrie, what's up? Raiderette, hello from Cali. Felicia Lopez from Fort Washington, right on. William and Debbie, hello. Nicholson Thill. Mine is Deb Madawa. She Nicholson Thill. Huh? Oh. That's interesting. Geez. Yes, well. Gosh. There we go. Yes. Anyways, yes, mental health rest. Hello from Redlina, Stefan, Becky. If I'm missing people because I'm looking at my phone and I see a lot more comments than I see on this part right here. So if I miss some of you guys, don't think I'm stuck up and not saying hello to you. I'm just seeing the things that I'm seeing on this one, not necessarily on this one. But I don't know why they're different. I don't know why they do that. But Ronnie Lee from Calwesses. How do you say that? I know how to say it, but I'm having a brain fart right now. But hello, Cindy. Hello, Jewel. Okay, here we go. The word is burnt fry bread. How does that make you feel? I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to wait for some comments. Burnt fry bread. How does that make you feel? What do you think about when you hear that? Burnt fry bread. Like, what does that mean? What does that entail? What kind of feelings does that give you? And it could be sensory, maybe sensory. When I first said burnt fry bread, maybe you seen it in your mind. Maybe you imagined it. Maybe you smelt it. Something happened to you when I said burnt fry bread. Okay. Maybe you have bad experience. Maybe you don't even know what burnt fry bread is. Okay. And maybe that's the thought that came out. Like, what is burnt fry bread? Like, what are you talking about? So that's upset who burns fry bread or tired native. So that's what I want to talk to you guys about. The reason why I'm talking to you guys about this is because for some people it could be a trigger word, okay? Fry bread, and you don't even. The reason why I say burnt fry bread is because it could be a trigger word which inhibits like the sensory, all your senses, and it can make you flash back to a time that maybe was traumatic, or it could be really fun, or it could be maybe you had an argument over something, over burnt fry bread, and it went into a whole blow up of something, and now every time you smell it or hear it or see it, something goes off in your mind chemically, and you get upset, or you get sad, or you get frustrated, or you don't like burnt fry bread, right? It's just like, ooh, like, right. That's the reason why I'm saying this, and I'm gonna get further into it. This is just the beginning of it, so I'm all extra with this. Hey, no, we're not gonna go into that little side conversation. So think about that. Burnt fry bread. Okay, the reason why I say this is a lot of people will just think about burnt fry bread. They'll laugh. We make jokes. I'm a comedian. I make jokes about burnt fry bread. There's shirts being made about burnt fry bread. Like, who burns fry bread? Like, why would it even? And we all know, if anybody knows what fry bread is. If you don't know what fry bread is, it's this dough, and it's in grease. You put it in the grease. You let it brown on one side. Then you flip it, and then you let it brown on it. Then you take this greasy bread, and you take it out and you let it, whatever you do with it. I don't know, degrease. I don't know what you would do. I don't know. I've never cooked fry bread, but I've seen numerous people cook fry bread. And every time I look at it, I'm like, wow, that looks good. And then when I see a burnt fry bread, I'm always passing it. I'm always like, when you look through the catalog of fry breads, right? You got the light ones, the undercooked ones, the overcooked, crispy ones, the soft ones, the sweet ones, whatever you guys' ingredients are. And you kind of, either they're laying on top of each other or they're stacked, one after another, right? They're stacked, I don't know. Anyways, and you're looking through them and you pick out the one you want. Some of them are big and thin, some of them are small and thick. Still talking about fry bread. And, but that's when we think about it, that's kind of how I envision picking out fry bread. And when you run into that burnt one, you're always passing over it. You're always like, no, I don't want that one. It's burnt. It's dark. It's too hard. Sometimes burnt fry bread is thrown away. All those things that happen with burnt fry bread, okay? Stick with me. We're going to get to the point here soon. Why is it burnt? Why did they burn the fry bread? Okay, now there's a whole list of things that happen. Teasing. When we burn fry bread, we tease. Oh, who burnt the fry bread? And that other person might feel bad about burning it and just embarrassed, like, oh my god, oh, this is my first time cooking fry bread. Oh my gosh, wow, that fry bread looks like the back of my uncle's, back of my uncle's backside. Oh my gosh, that's embarrassing fry bread. It's not even fluffy. It's just flat and hard, and it's gross. It's like, I don't want. They might be embarrassed of the burnt fry bread, and you're like making fun of it, right? But you're poking fun because it's fry bread. But who knows, that person on the other side might be having a traumatic experience, or might have low self-confidence, where they don't understand, why is everybody making fun of my fry bread, right? My burnt fry bread. It was a mistake. But everybody else is like making fun of it. So there's that culture, that sensitivity that might be happening around the burnt fry bread, right? It's just not burnt fry bread. there's a whole slew of other things that's going on besides just that burnt fry bread. There's teasing, there's feelings, there's emotions, there's sensory things going off, firing. So burnt fry bread encompasses so much more than just the humor of it or the physical part of it or the smell of it. It's a whole host of things, right? Why did they burn the fry bread? What happened? How did this happen? Oh my gosh. Burnt fry bread. Were they rushing? Did they not let was the grease too hot, or the grease too hot? Were they rushing? What was going on? Now you think about that thing, right? When they burn the fry bread, what's going on in their life for them to lose focus or understanding of how to cook fry bread, right? That's another thing that we have to think about. Is like, yeah, it's burnt, but why? Like, why is it so burnt? Like, what happened? Like, what's going on with this person? They just lose focus, or they don't know how? Do they need education? On and on and on. Did they use the wrong ingredients? I don't know how to cook fry bread. I don't even know what you put in. I know it's dough, but I mean, is it baking soda or baking powder? Maybe they don't know what they're doing, and the way they cooked it with the grease and everything burnt it. And I don't know. I really don't know how to cook fry bread. Was it on accident or was it on purpose? Like, do they see that person and they're like, you know what? All these other pieces came out raw. I'm ready to eat. I don't feel like cooking any more fry bread, so I'm going to burn this one because I don't like that person. Okay? So they can have my burnt fry bread. Okay? That's another thing, right? That's another reason why people burn fry bread. I mean, this is something to think about in terms of stimulating your thought pattern of why burnt fry bread. And this is not just about burnt fry bread. So this is an example that I'm using today. When we think about burnt fry bread, we also think about blame, right? I don't know if you guys do, but there's a lot of blame that goes over. She burnt the fry bread. That's her grandma's recipe, and it shows that you don't ever burn fry bread. What's wrong with you? It's your fault that all our fry bread is burnt. Blame. So a lot of people don't think about just a simple thing of burnt fry bread. There's a whole host of other things that come from our own emotions, our own things that we feel, and we blame. We are in a blaming society, and I've talked about this numerous times. We will blame that person. We will tell that person they suck, or they're not good at it, or they're not worthy of cooking with it. What are they thinking? Oh, her fry bread, or his or her fry bread sucks. I don't think I'm ever going to eat it. And that memory or that experience extends into the future. It could be 5 years later, y'all. 5 years later, this person could have the best fry bread by now, in 2 years or 5 years later, right? And that experience that person had before, like, oh, so-and-so cooked it. Oh, Janine cooked it. Oh, she burns fry bread. I don't want any of her fry bread. It carries over 5 years later from now, based off of just burnt fry bread. Okay? That's another example. Can the burnt fry bread be salvaged? Can it be salvaged? I don't know yet. Okay? Can you use burnt fry bread for anything? Is it usable? Or is it just discarded and viewed in a different way? Okay? Is it viewed negatively all the time? Okay? Because it's burnt. Okay? I know we're not talking about burnt toast, because I know a lot of people like burnt toast or burnt bacon or burnt something, crispy edges, whatever it may be. Okay? We're not talking about that. With burnt fry bread, are you making something out of nothing? Like, meaning you get that burnt fry bread on your plate, and then you just go off. You're just making, like, my whole dinner is ruined, my whole lunch is ruined. This is the worst meal I've ever had because of this burnt fry bread. Do you let that one little piece of burnt fry bread define your whole moment, your whole day? Okay? Think about that as well. And with the burnt fry bread, is there any type of forgiveness? Is there any encouragement going on with that burnt fry bread? Is there, laughter and healing with that burnt fry bread? Or is this ridicule and shame and blame and hurt and guilt, shoved into the person that was cooking? Okay? Now, the reason why, again, I use burnt fry bread, because it could be a trigger word. It's something that we never think about. It's something that is really something that really boils up a lot of things for a lot of people. And it's just not the actual burnt fry bread. It could be how you deal with challenges, how you deal with other people's views and opinions, how you deal with adversity, okay? How you deal with certain things in life that are presented to you as burnt fry bread. And you can have the best toppings on fry bread, okay? But that little piece of burnt fry bread on the bottom, for some people, kills the whole meal. So in that aspect, a lot of person sees that as like, oh, my meal's done. Like, I can never ever recover from this meal, and this meal sucks. I'm just gonna throw the whole thing away. For some people like me, I look at it, fry bread's a little hard, I can't cut through it. I just eat the topping. Oh, this hamburger is good, or this beans are good, or however you guys make your fry bread tacos or your Indian tacos. Man, this lettuce is really crisp. Or this cheese. Wow, this cheese is really good. What kind of cheese is this? Tomatoes, salsa, sour cream. Now I'm getting all hungry. That's how I view it. I'm like, okay, this little piece of burnt fry bread is not going to make or break my day. It's laughable. It's okay. Can I eat it? Can I use it for anything? Maybe for like a frisbee catch. I don't know. Or do I just say, hey man, and go tell that person that was making the fry bread, thanks so much for the meal. Love the bread. Appreciate you and all your cooking skills. And mine was on a little hard side, but that's okay. It's fine. I sure enjoyed the meal. Thank you so much. Okay, that's another thing, right? So the reason why I say that is because how do we view that word, and how do we let it define our day? How do we let it define who we are as a people? Okay, fried bread is not even us. That's another thing, right? Fried bread isn't really us. Burnt or perfect. And perfect, what is perfect? What is burnt, right? What is perfect fry bread? For some people, it is burnt. For some people, it isn't burnt. That's perfect. I don't know. Crispy, non-crispy. Sweet, not sweet. Fluffy, flat. I don't know. Okay? Those are some things. Carrie Lee Crocker says, tuning in from Vancouver Island, burnt fry bread wasn't cooked with good feelings. Oh, see? Well, that's something that we think about right away. If something didn't turn out right, we think about, it wasn't cooked with good feelings. That's why it didn't turn out. And that person might have not been cooking with good feelings. Maybe he or she was frustrated that day, was distracted that day, emotionally, spiritually, something was going on, that she wasn't able, or he or she wasn't able to cook it with good feelings, which we all know when we cook from a native perspective, or if you're a cook or a chef, we put our feelings go into that food, right? Boom, there it is. I love this food. This food's gonna taste good. And there's something about some types of food with a bubbly person, happy person cooking food. They're just like, la la, man, I love cooking. When you taste their food, it tastes different. Okay, that's another thing. So that's a good point, Carrie. It wasn't cooked. Burnt fry bread. Cook has lots on the mind. Yep, exactly. Love the mug. Yeah, you know what? We're gonna go on a little tangent here. Okay. Indian natives love to give away these. I have a lot of these, and it's all extra. Like I don't think we have any other coffee mugs. Maybe small ones, like little black ones that were giveaways too. But this is all extra, right? Like my coffee doesn't ever fill this up. Anyways, that's a tangent. Maryland, haven't experienced that yet. I do darker fry bread for significant other, but not burnt. I prefer a lighter fry bread. See? But what happens if you burn the fry bread? So obviously, Maryland, you're a cooker of fry bread. I'm assuming you're pretty good at it, because if you can make it light or dark for whoever they want, so specifics. What happens if you burn the fry bread? How does that make you feel? What do other people say to you if you burnt the fry bread? Oh, well, she hasn't experienced that yet. Okay. 100 compliments versus one negative comment to someone can define the effort. Right, Becky? That is so true. Like, we could tell somebody that they are the best cook in the world and they had one mess up with a burnt piece of fry bread because they were distracted or because they were in the right mindset, they weren't cooking good feelings, and we let that one moment define who they are for the rest of the time. Like I was saying, 5 years later, they could be the best cook, but that one moment, hey, you remember? You remember that one time? You burnt the fry bread? It was so burnt. I mean, it was really burnt. It was so burnt it looked like your knees on a hot summer day. Like, I don't know. Something like that. Anyways. Ojibwe First Nation, Arnold. What up, Arnold? Venetia? Is that, hopefully I'm saying that right. Making attitude adjustment. I was angry for a couple years. Life in general got better, even though the circumstances are the same. I had to consciously adjust at the moment's notice. I realized everything was triggering my anger. I almost back to my old self. Oh, sorry. Yeah. I almost went back to my old self. See? Crazy. A lot of people, and I know we're talking about burnt fried bread, but it could mean anything. This is just an example. But I mean, the way we react to simple things, it could just be burnt fried bread. It's laughable. It can be, but that person might be going through a lot of things. And the way we approach or criticize their cooking or their effort can make a lot of time or break them into not cooking it anymore, to feeling less valued, less appreciated, less loved, depending on where they are and who they are and where they're from. Now, as Native people, I know a lot of us like to tease. And sometimes I'm guilty of it, I'm really trying to work on it, like, oh, pick your chin up, you're fine, no. Let's get in that. What's going on? Like, really getting into that person's emotions and understanding them and being more considerate and empathetic to what they're going through. Even if that could just be the layer. The first layer is that burnt fry bread, and beyond those layers could be so much more going on. And we don't know unless we ask. Hey, do you need help in the kitchen? Hey, do you need help with this recipe? I got this old recipe from my grandma, and she never said it was her recipe. We can share it, whatever it may be. Okay, something like that. Arnold wants a burnt fry bread. Somebody mail Arnold a burnt fry bread. Can you mail burnt fry bread? I don't know if you can mail burnt fry bread. I love those. You love burnt fry bread? But yeah, so those kind of things we have to think about as well. A lot of people think of it as just as is, but it's not. And I have to tell you that over and over. Burnt fry bread is just an example of how we can take it, and we could go to cooking, over cooking noodles. Like, oh my God, my spaghetti is ruined. The small things can create such bigger things, or help you understand that there's more going on in our life or your life than you realize. I've seen people have emotional breakdowns because they messed up on something small, just very, very small. And that was the breaking. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. And I know a lot of you listening today can relate to that, because there's always a time in our lives where something minuscule, not the big part, we can handle the big ones. We handle it. We can handle death. We can handle car accidents. We can handle firing from a job. But once that little thing comes in, they criticize me on my burnt fry bread, and I lost it. They criticize me because I was wearing the wrong outfit, or I wore the wrong colors with my outfit, and they criticized me, and I lost it. Okay, the emotional understanding of what a person goes through, whether they're burning fry bread or wearing just the mismatching colors or whatever it may be, not on purpose, but just kind of through the process of life, we tend to criticize as into people, and as a Native people, we will. It's almost like a lateral oppression. I don't know, it's not violence. I wouldn't say it's violent because we're really like teasing, but it's something where we make fun of something to make ourselves feel better, and not realizing our teasing is not necessarily making them feel better. And it's not that we're bullying, but we're trying to make ourselves or make them feel comfortable with it through teasing. And sometimes they don't need the teasing, they need to be understood and be told it's going to be okay. That's just with the burnt fry bread scenario. But beyond that burnt fry bread, there's something else going on inside that. A lot of us do not understand because we are so wrapped up into our own minds thinking, oh, get over it. It's fine. It's no problem. It's one burnt fry bread. But for them, that was the straw that was the straw that broke the camel's back. And I think what I guess a lot of it is being more kind and considerate and thoughtful about other people's trials and challenges that they have. And I know they have teasing clans. I know how that's how we do, is just teasing or making fun. I remember this one time. I'll give an example. I dealt with my trauma through laughter or through teasing or being funny. And I remember my cousin was getting whipped by his dad, and I was really uncomfortable with it. I was really, and I felt this urge to laugh. And my poor cousin was getting, a good little spanking. It wasn't like brutal or anything, but back in old school days, we got whipped. And when we got out of line, we got whipped. And I chuckled. It came out like like something like that. I can't remember exactly how it sounded, but it was a chuckle. It was a laugh. And I remember my uncle looking at me and said, "You want me to give you something to laugh about?" And I shut up immediately and realized at that time it wasn't funny. It was traumatic. And both, I guess, were going through something. Even all the three people in that little area, we all were going through something emotionally, and we're all dealing with it differently. So one was fear. My little cousin was fearful and scared. He was dealing with the situation through that. My uncle, he was dealing with his emotions with anger and whatever else might have gone through. I seen anger. I mean, as a kid, that's what I seen. Whatever else was going on, I never asked him. I was dealing with that emotion, that little pocket of emotion that a lot of us were experiencing, or us three were experiencing, through laughter. And then it turned into so honestly, like, I got defensive. Like, I want to retaliate. Like, yeah, give me some cry about, like challenging almost. And at the same time, there was a little bit of that fear as well because of that situation. Now, the situation, I'm not sure how it happened. I just remember walking in because I heard yelling, and I walked in, and the situation, what it was him, getting spanked. I laughed, and that's an example of, we all deal with certain scenarios or situations in a different way, and we have to explore those things to understand where that's coming from. We can't just, that's the way I deal with it. A lot of us will just kind of, like I said at the beginning of this talk, is we have this groove or this pattern of behavior or thought that we continually go down without thinking about changing it. And that could be from teasing to criticizing to ridiculing to blaming to hurting to teasing. Or did I already say that? I think I already said that. But many of those things, we just go through humor. We go through all these things and we never explore it. We just think that's the way it has to be. That's just the way it is. And as human beings, our brains and our neural networks and our, like, everything that's going on, we're too complex to always think that way. To always think we got to think this way. This is the way it's always got to be. This is the way it's always got to be said. This is the way we always got to deal with things. This is the way we always got to view burnt fry bread. or this is the way we always have to deal with burnt fry bread. And that burnt fry bread is a symbolism of many other things in our life. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. That we need to be more understanding, considerate of what's going on, not only with other people but with ourselves. And when we understand that and we explore that through meditation, through praying, through sacrificing, through deep breathing, through exercise, through visiting, through cooking, through journaling and writing, music, comedy, acting, through all these different venues of exploration, when we start doing that, I think in turn we start healing, we start understanding ourselves, and we can be more empathetic to the people that are going through those things because we ourselves have put in the work to understand that place. Okay, I know a lot of people want to be teased so that they feel comfortable that it's okay. Is it okay? Are you okay? Are you okay with the burnt fry bread? That would be the question. Ultimately to that person. Like, I know we're all teasing you. I know it's all family function here. I know you're cooking for your family or a big feed or whatever it may be, but are you okay with this? To get their view on, oh yeah, I'm okay, I'm totally okay. No, really, are you okay with this burnt fry bread? Like, I'm just wondering. I could do better. Why do you feel like you can do better? Like, why would you want to change it? I don't know. Why are you asking me these questions? Because all these other things are just beautiful. Here's another example. Well, I was gonna save it for the next time I did, but it's coming to the brain, so I'll talk about it as well. So in terms of that burnt fry bread, we can also think about as imperfection. Okay, imperfection. Maybe they meant to burn the fry bread because all the other pieces were perfect. I mean, they thought that were perfect. I mean, they're golden, slightly brown, crispy, sweet, whatever it may have been. And then maybe they decided, you know what, I'm going to burn a fry bread because I need something to break up this perfection. I am still human, or whatever it may be. And when I think about it, I always think about, so I was going to save this for the next one, but I got about 20 minutes, so I might as well continue with this as well, because it kind of fits in as well. I don't know how many of you guys are beaters, like not beaters, like, you beat something, so beater, beating, like a medallion or outfit or whatever. I know a lot of beaters, including myself and whoever else, they will beat, and they'll throw like a miscolored bead in there just to show the imperfection of a lot of things. So we can also think about fry bread in that term, burnt fry bread in that term as well. Maybe they meant to burn the fry bread to throw off the perfection of the rest of the fry bread. That's an example. That's just an example. That's something to think beyond, outside the box kind of a thing, right? Outside the frying pan, okay? Something to think about. And I think when we kind of start understanding and think beyond the fry bread, beyond the burnt fry bread, and kind of start getting into the emotions of like what is going on, not only with them, because it's not at our place to go and start, hey, let me help you, let's sit down. It's not about that. It's about just thinking beyond that. It's about thinking beyond what kind of emotions come up when we talk about burnt fry bread. It's laughable. Some people are like, oh man, I don't like it. It's disgust. It could be so many things that kind of boil up through just the word or the scenario of a burnt fry bread. Look what we've already talked about already through this whole thing. We've talked about so many other different issues that come up from just burnt fry bread. I mean, there's even when you guys are thinking about other things as well, right? I'm gonna read here really quick. I want to say hello again to everybody that tuned in. I don't know how to say this last one. Kazarina or Zarina? Salido? I don't know. I'm sorry if I'm butchering that. I'm assuming it's a she. They said, I used to have nervous laughter as a kid and it got me into trouble a lot. I learned to manage it as I became older. So her laughter got her into trouble, but she learned to manage it. But then the question is, why deal with whatever may have been going through with laughter? Like, what was it giving you? What What was laughter? Was it a safety net? Was it a safety blanket? That's what I mean. Is like exploring that. My laughter. My laughter. I'm really trying to think of what I said to my counselor one time when we were talking about this specific issue. My laughter. My laughter happened because the counselor, when I was talking to him, asked, "Why do you laugh, Kasey?" I remember we were talking about a traumatic experience, and then I chuckled, and then he's like, "Why are you chuckling? You don't mind me asking, why did you chuckle at something that seems sad or something like that?" And I'm like, "Oh, I didn't realize I was doing that." And I laughed because where did the laughter come from? And I had to go like backwards and think about when I was a kid, or as far as I could, remembering how. So I was okay. Laughter came to mask fear, like it came to like mask me, so that instead of seeing my brother cry or seeing somebody hurt, whatever it may be, I would look at, okay, I know this is bad, but this is when I was a kid, okay? And this is how I dealt with the burnt fry bread scenario of looking at something. So when I looked at that burnt fry bread or that fear or that hurt or that pain or whatever it may have been, I envisioned, I seen it as funny in terms of, I seen their hurt, and I didn't want to delve in, or dive or whatever into that hurt. So then I would look at their faces and say, "Oh man, that's a funny cry face." But this is me as a kid. No one taught me this. In my brain, configured something in my mind to look at this person while they're crying, and I don't want to cry with them, to kind of chuckle, not at them, but kind of like chuckle. And it wasn't to make fun of them. It wasn't to hurt them. It wasn't like mean to them. It was my inability to explore that sadness or explore that hurt with them, because it was uncomfortable for me. So I would laugh to take away that uncomfortableness with myself, and I would see them crying and I would laugh at their face because I would see something humorous about it. I was crazy. And I remember telling him like that. I was like, and then we explored even more about it and realizing, wow, like it's crazy what our brains do when we think about trauma or hurt or burnt fry bread, and how that elicits all these different emotions and coping mechanisms within ourselves. All this trauma, all this groove of dealing with things. And when I started realizing those things, I started trying to think outside the box, thinking differently, thinking about what ifs and this would have, should have, could have, and yeah, this might work, but what if we thought about it this way? Those kind of thoughts. Doesn't mean you have to go with it. It just means those what if thoughts. Like what ifs. What if we tried it this way? What if we use whole wheat instead of bluebird? Is it bluebird flour? I don't know, something like that. And I know a lot of people right now that are probably watching this, especially from down south or even all northern. They're like, bluebird is the best. Why would you even ruin fry bread with wheat? Because some people are trying to become healthier. Or coconut flour fry bread, or almond flour fry bread. Ooh, I'll be like, ooh, that's gross. But some people are probably like, ooh, that's good. I don't know. Who's willing to change enough to experience something different? Who's willing to look at something enough in a certain way to say, you know what, that's pretty repetitive. Let's switch it up a bit. Okay. I know, but some people just have a disgust with certain things because their body, their mind, their spirit just do not like it, and that's fine. But yeah, so those kind of things. I'm sorry, I got sidetracked there. Still trying to read here. Stephen Bartlett said freedom. Cindy said ouch. Sad we can't make more. Smelled it. Oh, William said it smelled it. William and Debbie. Frustrated after all that work. Yep. Turning in from Vancouver Island, burnt to wasn't cooked. Oh, sorry. Yeah, holy. Years ago in school, I love the movie Edge of America. That's a good one too. Years ago, this is Kim Gear. Hello, Kim. Said years ago in school, it was a sign of romance if a guy teased a girl. it was a sign of romance if a girl hit a boy back in the days. Like, I got, well, I had my fair share of beatings, like punches to the arm. You know what I mean? Like, that's how a lot of girls showed their affection. And maybe I don't know. That was weird, right? I was like, this is in junior high, or not junior high, grade school. Okay, like they would hit me to show me that they like me, and I wouldn't hit them back, obviously. But I'd be, and then go ahead, hit me more. I could take it, kind of thing. Yeah. It's traditions, big time. It is totally right. So big, like. And I think that's the things that we have to explore and kind of go inside ourselves to figure out where a lot of these things reside. And if we're willing to change it, because if it's not working for us, or if it's doing just enough, are we willing to change it? You know, are we willing to take a dive into why we burn fry bread or why we dislike burnt fry bread? Okay. Is it enough for us to change? You know, same with the person who cooks fry bread. Is it enough for them to change their recipe or change the heat? Or do they continually just to burn fry bread over and over and over and don't care what other people think? Or is there enough influence to make them change because of why? You know, maybe they need to turn down the heat. Maybe they need to use different ingredients. Maybe a different pan. I know a lot of people like specific pans to cook their fry bread.